Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the round 20 preview against the Hawthorn Hawks. Saturday afternoon football, 4:35 PM. Bounce of the footy at Marvel. Back on our home deck. It could be a big game. It's kind of hard to tell. Depends on how other results go, but you know, this is a very winnable game for us. We've had a very tough second part of the year. I'd like to say we found some form last week, but I'm not really too sure just yet. I think Hawthorn are actually a pretty good test at the moment because when they get to play their way, they're actually really good. And we played them earlier in the year, as we all know, and we absolutely pantsed them. I think last time we played them, it was a 69-point win, 73 to 142. And that was one of our, if not our best four-quarter performance of the year. I think in terms of goals for them, who was it? Lewis. He kicked 3 goals, 5. So for me, like straight off the bat, biggest issue is probably him. I think that he can get us. I think Gunston's actually in pretty good form as well. And Mitchell's finding form in the midfield. So they've got a bit of confidence about them. I'm not too sure what their current streak is at the moment. They've won 3 of their past 5 and we've won 2 of our past 5. And they've actually kicked more goals than us. They've got a higher points for than us, but our defence is significantly better than theirs. So that tells me that the last 2 times we've played them, we've just blown them off the park with just sheer attack on the footy and efficiency in front of goal, which is not something that we're that good at. Last week, I think it was a bit better for memory. We kicked quite straight, got a lot of goals out the back thanks to Dan Butler and Higgins kicking a couple as well. Getting those goals 20 to 38 is really important. We're not trying to kick arse goals from 55 on an angle and that sort of stuff. So I think our entries were slightly better, but I think we still need to improve. Max King's going to be a big topic this week, as he is every week. We've got Sicily as well, he's been in great form all season, and he can be a player that can cause problems and just get in front of King and just stop him from running and jumping at the footy, which is what we all want him to do because we all know when he plays his best football, that's what he does. So I think Hawthorn are going to come in with a similar mindset to what they've done against us in previous games, despite the scoreboard. I think that, based on how Mitchell likes to coach them and the way they like to play, they don't get too, they don't let the other teams dictate them too much. I think they either play their way or they'll try and tweak it to a point where that really gives them a big chance of winning. And the last couple of times we've played them, I feel like they've backed their system the whole way, despite the scoreboard. And maybe that's good for experience with the young players, because obviously Mitchell's come in and he's a new coach. He's got a lot of new players. Maybe that's just some experience, but that's benefited us because we play really well against teams that attack the footy. And if they do that again on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon at Marvel, under the roof, dry deck, I feel like that opens the game up for us a little bit. And you saw that last week against West Coast. West Coast really didn't give a shit about manning up on us and playing accountable football. And it just made it a little bit easier for us. And against the top teams, obviously, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that unaccountability off the ball, especially on turnover, where you've got to man up, you've got to focus on someone and win the one-on-ones. And that's what the good teams do really well. They can go forward and then they're really accountable on turnover. They won't let you score, or at least they'll make it very difficult for you to score. So for Hawthorn, I feel like it's going to be kind of interesting to see how much they've improved since we last played them, because the last 2 times the games have been essentially identical. We've played 4-quarter football, like our only 4-quarter performance of 2021, and so far, one of our only 4-quarter performances of 2022 against Hawthorn. We kicked a lot of goals in both games. I think we won by 10 goals in both games, maybe. The first one might have been 50 or 60. This one was 69. So we hammer them when we play them recently, and I think that has a lot to do with the way they like to play their football. But it might play into our hands. That's all I'm trying to say, is that if they come with that same sort of game plan and they haven't really shifted it since round 3 or 4 when we played them earlier in the year, I think that can get our best out. We haven't seen our best football in months. But sometimes it just takes playing a certain team or something just clicking for that to just reignite and to come out and be on show. And I really hope that's the case on Saturday. I didn't see enough in the West Coast game to feel like we're back. So I'm not going to come here and tell you we're going to hammer Hawthorn, we're the best team in the comp, because that would just be stupid. What I did like is that when the game got a bit tight in stages against West Coast, we did find a little bit more than them. But again, it's hard to judge because obviously West Coast are bottom of the ladder with North Melbourne, and although they've got some of their senior boys back, they're still not the team they used to be. And Hawthorn's a team with a good mix of experience, a really good mix of youth. They have a system that they trust. They have a coach that they trust, and they've got good players across all lines. They've got very good, Sicily in defence is excellent. Obviously Mitchell in the midfield, Brownlow medalist, and then you've got a bunch of forwards that they're not the biggest names in the comp, but they get the job done when the game's on their terms. So I really want to see the midfield stand up again. I think last week was great. Jack Steele had 40. Seb Ross got back into form. Brad Crouch was excellent. We'll see how. I think Jade Gresham is probably going to miss. Jack Billings will miss. So there's players there that will come out. But I think the exciting thing is that Mitch Owen's got man of the match for Sandy. And I think he's a big chance of coming straight back in, on top of the fact that Winhager played an amazing game against West Coast and probably would have got the Rising Star nomination if it was any other week this year. And then you've got Dan Hanbury, who we haven't talked about yet, but Dan Hanbury brings that sort of level of experience that we haven't had in the team for a while. And I think Jack Steele will really like having a senior player like Dan Hanbury that is notably very vocal on field and can dictate, go there, do that, that was bullshit, that was shit, that was great. He's got that sort of leadership aspect to him. And I know a lot of people are still very much on the fence about Hannahs and his injuries and how much he's cost the club, and we sold our soul to get him at the club, but he's a St Kilda player and we've got to support St Kilda players until they're not. And I think he's a big chance of playing tonight. I really expect him to be named on a wing or just on a bench in the starting 22 or in the starting 18 would be great, but anywhere in the starting 22 for Saturday's game tonight when the teams drop. I really think Mitch Owens and Dan Hanbury are going to be the two that can really come in and they support the outs that are coming out. I don't think we need to tinker too much with the forward line. I'd be curious to see if Sharman stays back in this game or whether we push him forward and try to really stretch them. And maybe even a Tom Campbell can come in because he's played great football at Sandy all season. And although he's not your A-grade Paddy Ryder, Tap Ruckman, if we're going by rewarding effort and rewarding performances at the VFL level, he's done it all year. He's killing it in terms of hit-outs. He's getting a lot of the ball. He's kicking goals. And I think this allows us to play Rowan Marshall a bit deeper against Hawthorn, which just creates another headache for them. And Marshall's got form against Hawthorn. King's got form against Hawthorn. Membry does. Even Brad Hill. Put him back up to the wing. His best game of the year was when he played up half forward and wing against Hawthorn and he kicked 4 goals and had 30 possessions or whatever it was. So I think we need to go back to playing a bit more Saints attacking footy, and we just need to stop waiting for opposition to make their move for us to dictate what we do next. Because even last week, if you watch outside of the first 5 minutes of the game, we kicked 2 goals. We then just waited to see what West Coast would do, and then we worried about it. So for this one, I really want us to come out with the initiative. We have the point to prove. We have finals on the line. I don't want this to be a game where we're 10, 15 minutes into the last quarter and we still don't know whether we're going to win the game or not. I really want to see a clean 4-quarter performance. And I guess the good thing is we've done that the last 2 times we've played Hawthorn, so we could make it a hat-trick. But I'm tipping that Hawthorn have improved. They've got form, and they'll look at us and think they're not in great form, St Kilda, and we can probably get another win on the board. They've got they've had 8 games against top 8 opposition. They've won 2. We've had 9 and we've won 3. So very similar there in terms of age. They're a bit younger, but a bit taller and a bit bigger as well. A kilo on average bigger, which is interesting. So we'll see how that pans out. But for me, I think it comes down to the leadership in the middle of the ground. I want to see Rats set us up for a big win. I don't want, excuses after the game. Oh, we came into this game with tackling pressure focus and we didn't do it. Last week was better. We had 71 tackles compared to the week before, which was like 30. So I think I'd like to say I'm pretty confident of the win, but I'm not. But I'm confident it's going to be a good game nonetheless. So I'll leave it there, Saners. Hopefully you're all going well, and you're going to get to the game on Saturday. I want us to treat the last 3 games at Marvel as big finals. So Saners need to get out. You know, we can't get 20k, 25k to this game. Let's try and push 30 if we can. Hawthorn supporters will probably turn up because they think they're going to win or they've got a chance. We've got to turn up and push the boys over the line. We're going to will them over the line, because for us to make finals, 2 weeks ago we're kind of like, oh, we can still drop a game or two here, but now there's literally no margin for error. Maybe a little bit, but not much. And we probably have to win 3 of our last 4 to really like put our names up there in the top 8 and hope the results go our way. So that means winning every game at Marvel for the rest of the year, and then we just have a pinch hit against Geelong in Geelong. I think that's next weekend as well. So I'll wrap it up there, Saners. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please like it. Comment your thoughts. How are you feeling about the game? Do you think we're going to make finals? Who comes in? Who comes out? I think Dan Hanbury and Mitch Owens, so stay tuned for that tonight. I think it's 6:20 when the teams drop, and I'll post it on all Saints TV channels. And obviously subscribe, and yeah, rock up to the game and cheer loud, cheer hard, and let's hope to get a win against the Hawks on Saturday. But until then, Sainers, take care of yourselves, enjoy the rest of your week, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you Saturday. Wow.